I'm gonna take these off. I've been staring through glasses all day. I had a lovely day today. I went out to the mall with my friend Rachel and we saw the Allegiance musical. It was a film of the Broadway showing, the original Broadway cast. I mean, it only ran for like 4 months, which is a shame because it was really good. It was a one-day special event because it's the anniversary of Executive Order 9066, which is the order that FDR signed to relocate the Japanese Americans. I've been sitting on a lot of video ideas recently that are all at like 10% and they're all progressing so slowly, and I just wanted to make something simple. I just thought I'd talk about the musical today and other related things. Am I in focus? Whoa, that's weird. Wonk. That's my prescription, I guess. What was I saying? Right, so the musical. If you don't know, Allegiance is a musical inspired by the experiences of George Takei. It's not literally about George Takei's family, it's fiction, historical fiction more or less. It's about an imaginary family that is interned at Camp Hart. I should have looked this up before talking. Hart Mountain. And their whole experience during World War II. I cried 7 times. I would recommend to you that you see it, although I don't know how or where you can. I really hope that film version that I just saw comes out on DVD at some point soon. I did count how many times I cried. But I also laughed a lot, which was good. It was a good mix of like cry-worthy reality and like jokes to make sure that your soul isn't just sinking into a pit of despair while you're sitting there for 2 hours. George Takei makes a really great grandpa. Not every song like blew me away, but a lot of them were really fun or beautiful. The opening song is a nice Broadway opener, but my favorite songs were the ones that had a lot of like swing and jazz to them, or the ones that had a more Japanese feel to them, because those were just more interesting than really a classic Broadway progression. I would love to just talk and mention lots of random details that I enjoyed or cried at, but I think that would probably be boring, and I generally don't like to spoil people unless they welcome it, so. But it was beautiful. Leia Salonga had a great performance. George Takei did great. The guy who played the other guy, the main character, what's his name? The actors were lovely. There was a smattering of Japanese in some of the songs or dialogue. I enjoyed that because I feel like in a movie it would have been, like if those were scenes in a movie, maybe they would be subtitled or something like that. I don't know, but I just enjoyed them coming in and out of Japanese. Not too much, because obviously it's for an English-speaking audience generally. You can have your whole play in a foreign language. But there was a good amount of like different perspectives in the movie. There's like a character who really wants to enlist in the army to prove like Japanese loyalty, and is like fighting in that way. There's a character who like, wants to resist and prove, sort of bargain for the freedom of the Japanese that way. There's the guy, the only character in the show who's based off a real person, Masaoka, him like trying to help the Japanese but also screwing them over at the same time in a weird position of power and diplomacy. Was that he had his own thing? There are people who just like want to keep their heads down and let it just sort of the storm blow through, and there's just a lot of good things and moments. It's so important too. It's really not a thing that's talked about enough, like because it's surrounded by so much shame, and like it's just not like, I don't think I ever learned about the Japanese internment in school. You know how I learned about the Japanese internment? Through a Fort Minor song. Kenji by Fort Minor is a really good song, by the way. It was for a long time the only rap song that I ever enjoyed. There was a little bit at the end, you got to see some like interviews and commentary by people who worked on the show, and they talked about how really it's the first piece of like mainstream media to address this, and it was pretty nice. I wish it had stayed on Broadway longer, but it was totally, I'm pretty sure it was just eclipsed by Hamilton. There was cute people swing dancing. I was gonna try to film a video yesterday of like with like a voiceover, and like I was trying to figure out how to film my table so that I could draw. The thing that I wanted to talk about actually it does a nice tie-in over with the musical I saw today, because it's about Prejudice. Basically, I was gonna do a summary of Allport's scale of Prejudice and like doing a video about that while experimenting with filming drawing and stuff like that, but drawing thing's not gonna work out, but I'll just talk about Allport scale anyways. I went to an event a couple months ago where there was a speaker whose job was basically peace mediation. I think she did a lot of work in Ireland. During her presentation, she mentioned something called Allport scale of prejudice. It was developed in 1954 by this guy named Gordon Allport. Did a quick Wikipedia search on him, and he's apparently my birthday buddy. Don't know why that deserves a high five. I don't know anything about him. Anyways, he was a psychologist who made this scale with 5 levels, and I thought it was pretty interesting, so I just thought I'd share. So the first level is called antilocution. I wonder if I'm pronouncing that right. It's a weird fancy word that basically means mean speech, negative things like gossip, rumors, names, I guess slurs, jokes, degrading things in a verbal sense. I don't know if I need to give an example of this. It's everywhere all the time about all kinds of groups. The second level is avoidance, where you avoid the people, homes, neighborhoods, schools, businesses. This can be really isolating between the in-group and the out-group, the oppressors and the oppressed, and it just makes room for more level 1 stuff. Third level gets to discrimination, which I guess is a good place to address the difference between prejudice and discrimination. Prejudice is generally feelings about a certain group of people. Discrimination is when you put those feelings into action. It's important to stay hydrated. Actions, behaviors, laws that keep the outgroup from having certain opportunities like education or jobs. Apartheid, for example. Jim Crow laws, another example. The fourth level is physical attack. Pretty self-explanatory. Violence, destruction of property or of other people. The fifth and final level of the scale is titled extermination, which in general is referring to genocide, but also can refer to the removal of groups, ethnic cleansing, and things like that, either in a group's entirety or a large fraction of it. So I was thinking about this, tying into allegiance, because it's basically a tool to measure, identify, to recognize prejudice happening in a community or escalating. You can take certain events you observe or see or know about and put them on the scale. Where would you put Japanese internment camps on this? I'm not really sure if it's a number 3 or a number 5. I think I need to know more about the scale and more about the history. But in the end, what's the point of the scale? I don't know exactly what it's good for. I guess awareness of a problem is often a first step. So recognizing prejudice happening in your community and then working against it, keeping it from climbing these stairs of terribleness. How do you do that? I don't know. I'm not that smart. But anyways, I just wanted to make a casual video. So, tell me what you think in the comments. I don't know why I'm making this video. I still have so much travel footage from my vacation that I wanted to make into... haven't edited it at all. Working on a couple songs, whatever. Like the video if you liked it. Comment, subscribe, share. I want to be YouTube famous or something. Bye.